everybody, and thank you so much for joining me for today's video. In this one, I am talking you through my top 10 easy dress patterns for beginners and people looking to enhance their sewing skills. So I've got a big stack of patterns to share with you today. They range in levels. Some are really easy for complete beginners, and then I've got some that will test your sewing skills a little bit more as well. I've tried to go for lots of different designs, really pretty floaty summer dresses, some that are a bit more spicy, and just some really lovely everyday dresses as well. So there's a big range of styles and a big range for different sewing abilities as well. Everything I share, I will link in the description box below as well. I'm going to be popping some inspiration pictures up here too, so keep an eye out for those. And if you have any questions about any of the patterns or want to see any sew-alongs for any of these patterns in the future, please do pop a comment down below. But anyway, I won't ramble on too much today. Let's get straight into it and have a look at the first pattern. So the first pattern is one that I made last summer, and I would say this one is super easy. This is S9778 by Mimi G. It's a beautiful cutout dress with a twisted bodice at the front, and you've got sleeveless and short sleeve options, and you've got a nice fitted skirt as well. This is a pattern for stretch fabrics, so you can use all kinds of different jerseys for this. I used a ribbed cotton for this pattern and it was lovely. You could also use a viscose jersey, you could use scuba as well, but make sure you don't get one that's too heavy because of this detail here. Jersey fabrics are really easy to sew with because you don't have to worry too much about fitting or anything like that. They're really great and easy to fit, and they come together very quickly. Most of the time you don't have to finish the edges as well, so if you don't have an overlocker, jersey dresses are really great to make. I made this pattern last year and I made it on the morning of a night out, and I think I finished it in about an hour and a half to 2 hours. It was so quick. And this pattern as well has a really good clear sew along by Mimi G, and I followed that and it was so easy to follow, really helpful too. So this is a great beginner pattern. So the size range goes from a size 8 to a size 26. I would say though this pattern is quite generous in the sizing. I made a size 12 and I did have to take it in a little bit. So I would maybe size down if you're making this one depending on the stretch of your fabric. I absolutely loved making this one and I cannot wait to make it again. It's perfect for date nights and it came together so quickly. So next it only seems right to talk about the pattern that I'm actually wearing. This is M7946 and it is a faux sheared dress. Now when I say faux sheared, these channels here are all elastic, but as you can see on my dress, I've actually done some shearing on it. But the thing I love about this pattern is it's really easy to change and hack and make your own. So if you're really into shearing, you can shear this whole bodice, or you can shear rows under the waist if you'd like to as well. You can do the full elastic as they've done on the pattern here. You can leave the elastic off if you want. You've got different sleeve options too, and these really cute little tie straps. There's options for ruffles as well. The only fiddly bit of this pattern is attaching the sleeve. So at some point I will do a sew along for this, because once you get it, it is actually very easy to attach. But the instructions on that bit I wouldn't say were the best. But aside from that, this was really easy to put together. These dresses are just an absolute staple for summer. You have designers like Daily Sleeper who have these really beautiful Atlanta sheared dresses that sit off the shoulder, which have been everywhere for the last 4 or 5 years, I think. I found a dress that was very similar to View D, which had the rows of elastic underneath the bust. I think that gives a really lovely look. But as I said, you can make this in so many different ways. It's really comfortable. And there are lots of tutorials for sheared dresses where you just use rectangles and things. But the difference with this pattern is it's actually shaped across the bust and under the arms. And if you are a busty girl, you will know if you make a sheared dress, you end up with your front bodice being a lot shorter than your back because of the way that it sits. So the way that this is designed and shaped gives you extra room at the front, so you don't have that shearing or elastic going down really low at the back compared to the front, which is really great. So if you're bustier, I would really recommend this one. Sizing on it isn't amazing. It goes from size 4 to 20. However, this is very easy to grade out because of the shape of it. So if you wanted to, you could. This is lovely to sew. I've made 3 versions of this now, and I'm planning on making another one for summer. Okay, the next dress is another simplicity one, and this looks super, super easy to sew. I haven't actually made this one yet, but I am planning on doing a little bit of a hack of this one. So keep your eyes peeled for that. So this is S9746 by Simplicity. It's an asymmetric one shoulder dress with a tiered skirt. It's got an elasticated waist, and it actually fastens by tying with this bow at the shoulder. There's a couple of different variations. You've got this one where you almost have it like a bit of a faux wrap, I would say. It looks a bit like a wrap dress where you've got the 2 straps on the sides, or you can have the full maxi length dress, or you can have a mini dress. This dress is obviously going to have quite a lot of gathering, so if you're new to gathering, it's a great way to practice because it's elasticated and gathered. It's going to be very, very easy to fit. No fastenings either, so this would make a really, really great beginner pattern, and such a gorgeous everyday summer dress as well. This would look lovely on holiday. You could do this in all sorts of different fabrics as well. Viscose, cotton. I would go for something a little bit on the lighter side, so I would avoid kind of heavier linens, but a viscose linen would be really, really nice. And size wise, this one goes from a size 6 to a size 24. I believe this one has been rated as quite roomy again. So just bear that in mind when you're making this. This would be a really, really great one for any beginner to sew during the summer. And another dress that I've made and absolutely loved is this one here. This is N6731. Sorry, I couldn't read the number properly then. This is a really beautiful cutout design by New Look. I know not everyone is for cutouts, so if you're not into cutouts or backless dresses, this one may not be for you, because if you look at the line drawings, you've got 2 different variations. One where you've just got the cutouts at the side, and this one here, which is the one that I made, which has these full elastic straps going across the back. So you get a backless dress, which is absolutely stunning. I do struggle to wear this one because I like to wear a bra, so I do really struggle. I have to kind of put a bikini top underneath and tie it and then pin it in at the side to make this work. But the shape of this dress is so dreamy. Every time I put it on, I feel amazing. And because it's all elasticated, it's very easy to sew and even easier to wear. It's really, really comfortable. So in terms of size, this goes from a 6 to an 18. New Look patterns are always a little bit more limited on sizing because of the way they're designed. They're designed to all fit in one pattern envelope, so they can fit in those kind of spinny things in shops. I would say this was very true to size. I think I made a size 12 and it fit me spot on. It was the perfect fit, but so gorgeous. I really, really love this design. When I made it, I really wasn't expecting to either because of the kind of high neck and everything, but it's gorgeous. Really, really gorgeous. I could not recommend this one enough. And next up we have a wrap dress from McCall's. This is M7745. This design has been around for years, and this is a very, very popular pattern for good reason. It's very beginner friendly, as most wrap dresses are, because you've got no zips, you've got no buttonholes, no fastenings, it just ties. This is a true wrap dress, so there's no kind of secret zips or anything hiding. It's got some really beautiful options as well. It's got this really gorgeous off the shoulder ruffle view. It's got this other version that's got little sleeves and a ruffle around the neckline and the skirt. And then it's got a really simple maxi version with little cap sleeves. It's a really beautiful design, and I love the versatility of this pattern as well. You could sew it in a chiffon for a wedding. I've seen a designer dress that I have this saved for a wedding I've got this summer because I think I might recreate that dress. You could sew this version in a viscose for every day, and you can play around with the ruffles as well. You could always do this bodice if you wanted to with the ruffle skirt. You can mix and match. There's lots of different options when it comes to this pattern. This pattern goes from a size 6 to a size 22, and the great thing about this, which I actually didn't know, is this actually has multiple bra cup sizing as well, which is so handy for a wrap dress because wrap dresses are notoriously difficult to fit over the bust area. So you get an AB cup, a C cup and a D cup, which is amazing, and the D cup goes up to a 48.5-inch bust. If you're a beginner, doing a full bust adjustment is actually quite a difficult process and something that takes quite a long time to learn. So a pattern that has multiple cup sizes and different options for fitting in that area is always really, really handy. I love the look of this pattern. I've got a couple of ideas of versions that I would like to make. Like I said, the chiffon version for a wedding, but I'd also like to make one in a viscose fabric. I'm looking at doing view C because I saw a lady in my local park the other day wearing a red polka dot dress that was very similar, and I have some fabric in my stash that would work. And she looked so gorgeous. So she fully inspired me and fully inspired me to share this pattern as well. So thank you to her. Next up, another simplicity pattern and another designed by Mimi G. This is S9597. I'm actually sewing this pattern at the moment. I've seen so many gorgeous versions on Instagram of this pattern. One that's particularly inspired me is one by Brogan from the Sewing Bee, and I was also very inspired by Alyssa Threads because she's made multiple versions of this dress, and it just looks like the perfect, comfortable summer dress. So the way it fits is, can you see it gathers under the bust? So I think this would also make a very, very good maternity dress as well. It's got some really beautiful details. It's got this cutout at the back with an elasticated channel for the skirt. And then you have this bit of the bodice here, which fastens with buttons, and you've got little straps too. And this version here, although it doesn't look like it, is actually a jumpsuit. So if you're a jumpsuit lover, this could be a really, really good option. So this is rated as a very easy pattern, but I do think this would be a little bit more for a confident beginner, just because you have the buttons at the back and the loopholes and that kind of cutout section as well. Also, it is very fitted over the bodice and you want to get that fit really, really great. But aside from that, it looks really easy to put together because you've got a gathered skirt, which means no fitting kind of over the waist and the hips. And of course, that beautiful elasticated skirt at the back as well. I'm really, really excited to make this one. I am making one in a pink broderie on glaze, and it's looking gorgeous so far. I cannot wait. I am hacking mine a little bit, but that's the thing about this pattern. This is another one that's very easy to modify and make your own. You could change it to have a tie at the back, so you don't have to do any buttons at all. You could do a sheared panel at the back if you wanted to, or I've seen a version by Classified Life where she did straps across the back, so it's completely backless, and that looked really, really gorgeous. It's got pockets too. I'm not a massive fan of pockets in dresses, but if you like pockets in dresses, that could be a selling point for you. So size-wise, this one goes from a size 6 to a size 24, which is a 32.5-inch hip to a 48-inch hip. You could make this in lots of different fabrics. You could do it in a lightweight linen, a lightweight cotton, a broderie on glaze like mine. Viscose would work as well. There's loads of different options with this one, and it's just such a gorgeous classic summer dress design. Okay, the next pattern I want to share, I don't actually have a pattern envelope for. I cannot for the life of me find it. I think my mum's stolen it, to be honest. It seems like the sort of dress she would steal. But the next pattern is V1753 by Vogue. I have mentioned this pattern in pattern videos before, but I will continue to mention it because it's one of my all-time favorites. It's one of the most gorgeous dresses I've ever made. I've made 3 versions now, 2 or 3 versions. And my mum is potentially going to make this dress for my wedding as well, because it looks really, really beautiful on her body type as well. It's just gorgeous. The way it fits is really dreamy. It is from the Very Easy Vogue range, but I would say this one is a little bit more complicated because it is pleated over the waist and hips, which means fit-wise, you need to be a little bit more careful. It does come together very easily and the instructions are really, really good, but you've got an invisible zip at the back as well, and the way the neckline is done is a little bit fiddly. So I would say this is more for a confident beginner, but it's just such a gorgeous pattern. It has this deep plunging V-neck and then grown on sleeves as well, which you can change the length of. And then the skirt, you can either have as a maxi length or a midi length. It's so elegant, so beautiful. There's also a tie that pulls in around the waist. But actually I wore it in Italy and I forgot the belt, and I loved how it looked without the belt. Because of the pleats and the way it skims over the body, it didn't really need it, and it just looked really, really classic and elegant. You can make this pattern in all sorts of different fabrics. I've made a version in a satin, in a linen, and in a lightweight viscose lawn, and it looks good in every type of fabric I've made it in. It's so versatile. Sorry if you've heard me mention this pattern before, but I will continue to mention it till the end of time because I love it so much. Next up is a pattern that is a bit of a wild card choice. I'm including this because I've just made this pattern and I absolutely loved it. I was very surprised with the result because, as you can see, the pattern envelope is not that inspiring, especially the line drawings for the version that I made. But this is McCall's M8209. It's a basque waist jumpsuit or dress, and it has the options of puff sleeves or straps. So I made view A with the straps, except I altered them to be big tie straps, which was really, really cute. But the fit of this dress is so good because the bodice is in panels. It's really easy to fit. I love the neckline as well. It's not too low. It's just a really delicate V-neck. The only thing that I struggled with fitting was the back of this dress. I wanted to put a sheared or an elasticated panel in it anyway because I love those for comfort. But when I made the original toile of the just regular bodice, which would have had the zip in, the back panel didn't fit particularly well. It wasn't miles off and it wouldn't have taken a lot to fit, but putting an elasticated panel in the back just made it super easy and made it so comfortable to wear. This has got a really good size range. It goes from a size 8 to a size 32W, which is a 34.5-inch bust to a 57.5-inch bust. And you've got jumpsuit versions, you've got the options of little puff sleeves as well. So there's lots of different ways that you can make this. These basque waist dresses are bang on trend at the moment. I've been seeing them in places like Reformation, House of CB, and I love that silhouette. I'm planning another version of this already because I loved it so much. I want to make a more everyday version in a viscose fabric. I've seen a dress on Reformation that I want to recreate just with a longer skirt. It took me a couple of days to make this and it was really, really lovely to sew. If you want to make it and you're looking for a little bit of guidance, then check out my last video and I show you all the steps and how I added that elasticated panel at the back as well. The next two patterns are two that I really wanted to include, but I wouldn't say that these are beginner patterns. These two patterns are ones that I would recommend if you're looking to test your sewing skills a little bit more. First up is Me 2067. This is a really gorgeous design by Lindsay at the Stitch Fits for Nomi Patterns. It's this off-the-shoulder ruffle dress with an optional ruffle skirt as well, or you can just have a plain pencil skirt. I really love this pattern. I started making a version before me and my fiance went over to Italy to visit our wedding venue, and I was really enjoying sewing it. The instructions are really good. It came together really quickly. There's also a video sew along for this one, which is really helpful. And I think this is a great way to test your skills because it contains boning, the skirt's a bit more fitted as well, and the way the bodice fits because it's strapless is a good way to test your skills. Unfortunately, I ran out of time to finish this because the bodice didn't fit me that well. So that's one thing to bear in mind with this pattern. You may want to do a toile. It also does have an invisible zip in the back, but I think this could be easily hacked to have a sheared back. But I just absolutely love the design of this dress. The ruffle off the shoulder is gorgeous, and I really love this kind of high-low ruffle on the skirt too. It's really, really cute. My favorite version is definitely the strapless version, but it's nice that you have the option of straps as well if you want a little bit more support. So one to check out if you're looking to make something a little bit more complicated, but because of the video sew along and the great instructions, I would say anybody could make this one. So last but not least, another pattern that will definitely test your skills. This is Simplicity S9949. This is a brand new pattern and I had to share this one because I'm obsessed with it. It's so, so gorgeous. I love the simplicity of this dress. It's a halter neck dress with a fitted bodice and pleats across the skirt. It's really, really nicely designed. It has panels going all the way down. So I would say it's more like a princess line type dress. And then at the back you have the halter that fastens at the back of the neck, and then the bodice kind of scoops down, so you have a little bit more back showing. But I love this. It's a very, very simple design, but the way it fits and the pleats at the bottom that give that gorgeous full shape around the hem is just stunning. I have some brown heavy linen in my stash that I think this would be perfect for. And I was looking for some inspiration for this dress, and I found a gorgeous white dress that's very, very similar, and it just made me realise how expensive looking this pattern really is. It's such a classic. You would wear it all the time. I wouldn't recommend this for a full beginner because it does have an invisible zip and you have buttons around the neckline as well. And the way that this dress fits is going to be a little bit more complicated depending on your body type. I'm quite hippie in the body, so I imagine that I'm going to need to do a toile of this kind of shape because I've never actually made this kind of shape before with the princess line and the pleats. So I'm interested to see if this suits me. Size-wise, this pattern goes from a size 6 to a size 24, which is a 32.5-inch hip to a 48-inch hip. So fabric-wise, they've suggested a variety of fabrics for this one, but I personally would choose something with a little bit more structure, so you get the fullness of this gorgeous, gorgeous skirt. Sorry, my camera just completely cut me off there, but I think I said everything that I needed to say about this pattern. So that's all of the patterns that I have to share with you today. I really hope you liked my picks and this left you feeling inspired for some summer sewing, or if you're beginning your sewing journey, inspired you to keep going. Any information about the patterns that I've mentioned will be linked down in the description box. And if you have any questions about the patterns that I shared, or you would like to see any sew-alongs for any of them, leave a comment below and let me know. If you enjoyed today's video, please do subscribe. I would love to have you back. Pop a comment below and let me know if you're going to be sewing any of these patterns this summer or which ones are on your to sew list now. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you being here, and I will see you in my next video. Take care, happy sewing, bye.